got me wondering how I made it so far. You got me wondering how I'ma heal all these scars. Yeah, but I did this to myself. Yeah, and I just need me some help. Yeah, I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I had a feeling deep inside, and you know the reason why. Why never again I can trust you? Cause you told me not to worry about the person you booed over now. Now you got me stuck with trust issues. Now I'm easy to giving up. It ain't easier for the next. That's trying to heal my core, trying to show me more, trying to love me more. You got me wondering how I made it so far. You got me wondering how I'ma heal all these scars. Yeah, but I did this to myself. Yeah, and I just need me some help. Yeah, I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I think it's funny how in the beginning you used to carry me forever, but I guess forever just means temporary. Temporary just allow you to hurt me, cause you're doing surgery. You hurting me, you irking me, cause everybody love me. Your daddy, your granny, the cousins and nannies, there's so many. It was the whole family, yeah. And don't forget the others, all your friends and all your brothers, especially your mother, but you chose love. You got me wondering how I made it so far. You got me wondering how I'ma heal all these scars. Yeah, but I did this to myself. Yeah, and I just need me some help. Yeah, I need some therapy. 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 You got me wondering how I made it so far. You got me wondering how I'ma heal all these scars. Yeah, but I did this to myself. Yeah, and I just need me some help. Yeah, I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I need some therapy. I had a feeling deep inside, and you know the reason why. Why never again I can trust you? Cause you told me not to worry about the person you booed over now. Now you got me stuck with trust issues. Now I'm easy to giving up. It ain't easier for the next. That's trying to heal my core, trying to show me more, trying to love me more. You got me wondering how I made it so far. You got me wondering.
Fellow brothers of the House of York,
Yeah!
are you ready to battle against the House of Lancaster. Right. Squire!
Yes, my liege.
Messenger, at once!
Ah, yes. And who shall I write to the lovely lady for, sir?
What?
Who shall I write to for you? Might I suggest Agnes from the bathhouse? She does have more teeth than the average peasant.
No. I said messenger, not messenger. I need the messenger to give me the battle plans from the Earl of Warwick.
Yes, right away, sir, right away.
Can't get good help these days. Maybe I should outsource to China. I could do with a few mercenaries.
Yes, sir.
Need the battle plans from the Earl of Warwick, please.
Ah, yes, the battle plans. The battle plans, my liege.
What's this? Tonight on the RAVEstream, a lesson about keeping pace. Interns are announced, and another mellow moment. It must be in code.
What's up? Hey,
Lights aren't on.
hold on.
I knew we were forgetting something. Gotta get the lights on.
Yay! And now we're all, oh look, I'm like way too, I'm lit.
Maybe 10 years ago, Rodney.
Hold on, we're gonna get it. Oh wow, that's way too bright.
Why are you so lit today?
I don't know. Is that better? That's over here. Yeah, that's true. Maybe that? Oh, I know. Hold on. We're gonna fix it. Less? That's better. It's still over behind me. That's not cool.
That's weird.
That is weird. It doesn't usually
We
do
haven't
that.
changed the setup though.
I know, we haven't. I may have changed some of my settings, maybe? I don't know, that's odd. Let's move this one.
Here, I should fade myself out so you can actually see.
My transfiguration. Oh, there we go. That's I bet you. I know what I did. So on your video in video, it has a different green screen setting than this one. That's why. So this is over here behind me.
Hey, don't move. We'll test it.
Hold on. Let me move that there so it's not aimed at me.
All right,
That's a little better. Yeah, see?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. That's okay.
Not a big deal. Okay.
What's up, everyone?
Let's fix everything.
Welcome to the train wreck that is the RAVEstream.
And here I thought we were doing good today. And that was all my fault. Oh, look what I just did. That needs to be there. Okay.
The first 5 minutes.
No!
Dude, what'd you do?
Hey, I tell you what. We're going to fix this. Play the intro again.
We are?
Play the intro again. We're going to start all the way over.
Do you want to do the cold open again, too?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
We're going to try this again.
Here we go. Are you all ready for the intro again? Here we go.
We're going to start all the way.
Welcome back to the RAVEstream. Wait, what just happened? This is not where I usually am. This is very wrong.
I got an idea. Welcome to the RAVEstream! What's up? You know, it just, when things work out, you know, the lights are on, the backgrounds work, it's like It's like it never happened. It's like we've been doing it right the whole time.
I don't know what you're talking. That was a seamless introduction.
I know, it was perfect. It was so great.
We went from the cold open that we made
right through the theme song, right into this. I mean, I'm super excited about that. I am going to scoot over a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how that chair got out of
I don't know.
Usually it's a centimeter more to the right.
Somebody, yeah, I know. Somebody a little taller than me sat in it or something.
Maybe, I don't know.
Welcome to the RAVEstream. Super excited you guys are here. Michael has a new TV set. Check that out. We upgraded him.
I gotta point the other way. There's the dials.
So I'm getting my pointing down now. There's Michael. Even though when I point to him here,
there's Rodney.
I point to him here and I look over here. It looks like I'm looking at him, but Michael's really over there, off screen. Right. So.
And I gotta not look at you when I'm talking. I look at you. This is what it looks like.
Glad you guys are here tonight. A couple of announcements you saw in the countdown with the slides and stuff. We have a Super Bowl party coming up, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. We also have a retreat coming up March 17th, 18th, and 19th. That's going to be with Washington Street at Camp to Know Him. And you'll get more details about that in the mail and on Instagram and stuff later on. So be looking for that. Also, class started back on Sunday morning last week, and we will have class in the teen room again this Sunday, 9 a.m. Be here for that. Appreciate Brad teaching class last week, and had some stuff come up and had to deal with it, and so he took care of that. But we'll have class next week and start a discussion that I'm calling the least of these. We're going to look at lessons about lesser-known figures in the Bible and lesser-known stories, and kind of talk through what they do right, what they do wrong, what could have gone better, all those kind of things. So be here for that, and come ready to talk. And like I said, we're spread out enough, but wear your masks when you're coming in the door, and that way, once we get sat down and we're kind of spread out and stuff, it's a little bit easier. You want to wear your mask the whole time, wear your mask the whole time.
But first, a word from our sponsor.
Oh, yes. Do it! So, funny story about that intro. We were supposed to use that last week whenever we did our Mountain Dew taste test. I spent all afternoon making that animation, thought it was awesome,
and then you just forgot.
And then we never used it. Not that anything goes wrong around here.
No.
We did not use it. So tonight, we're going to use it a ton.
And basically, every time we transition from my TV back to you, that's going to happen.
First, point in case. Do it! Good old Shia LaBeouf. You should look up that video if you want to see it later. He does like a whole thing in front of a green screen, and you can pull out little pieces of it, and it's insanely ridiculous. Before we get to our lesson, don't forget, after our lesson, we're going to share who our new interns are. So you want to stick around for that. It's fantastic.
We may or may not have gotten Bigfoot.
We may or may not have.
You never know.
There you go.
Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it.
There you go. So stick around for that. But first, because we haven't done one in a while.
Are we feeling mellow tonight, Rod?
We are. We haven't done a mellow moment in quite a while, so I thought we would start off 2021 with a mellow moment.
That's so nice. That's not the mellow moment.
This one is really, really cool. This video is awesome. I've been wanting to share it for a while. So several years ago, Honda made this really cool ad and the tagline is, "Isn't it awesome when everything comes together or works together?" And we've showed videos like this before, but this is a Rube Goldberg machine. If you don't know what that is, look it up. And if you don't know what it is, watch the video because you're about to see what a Rube Goldberg device is.
Look it up after you've watched.
After you've watched. Or just pause it and go watch and then come back.
That works.
Let's do that. So, everybody, we're going to pause. Go watch the video. Go look up what Rube Goldberg is. Pause
the stream. Go to another computer. Look up what Rube Goldberg is if you don't know.
Okay, now that you know what a Rube Goldberg device is, this Honda video makes use of that idea, and they disassembled 3 handmade Honda cars. The car that's featured in this ad, they disassembled 3 of them. They were handmade. They took them back apart and laid them out to create this. It took them 624, 27 tries to get this right. So everything you're about to see in this mellow moment is completely real. No trickery, none of that stuff.
And
no
likely
CG.
The employees were crying in the background because of how much time they
It is
put into
insanely awesome. Here is your mellow moment.
Beautiful breath. This almost makes me want to buy a Honda.
I like this part. Dink, dink, dink. I discovered that they put weights in the tires so that whenever they move like that, they roll up.
Yeah. Nice how the chair opens too.
The windshield wipers throughout this video are very creepy. Batteries.
Okay, Christopher, your timing is perfect.
There was a fan. Excellent.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That tire just, I mean, like, they had to line up to make this happen. Bink, bink. Bink. The door handles. Okay, here's the windshield wipers on the automatic windshield. Again, windshield wipers. And then the CD goes in.
Nice when things just work.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
That was nice.
Anyway, that was your mellow moment for the evening. So I hope you enjoyed it. We'll have other videos and other mellow moments in the future. We should redo the audio for that and be like, we should add that
No,
too.
we should just do like a
Just
a
do it.
Sprite can. Just opening or something. And then we take a sip and we go. I think that
Oh, hey,
would really be mellow.
Why is this? Look at that. It's here. We'll just do it this way. Maybe we'll put it up here. Oh, look, you can't see it now. That's awesome. Okay, so lesson time. We are again discussing the theater popcorn Coke noise. Yeah, that's a great noise too. Tonight we are discussing again keeping pace. We talked last semester about building a stronger foundation, but how do you maintain that? How do you develop your spiritual walk and maintain it so that, I don't want us to have down slumps that don't have higher up moments, right? We're always going to have low points. We're always going to have things that happen. We might even backslide and have problems and do things and cause problems. But moving forward, moving upward, moving closer in our relationship with God is always the goal. And so keeping pace, just like with a runner, how do you keep a pace that helps you finish the race? And so we're looking at a lot of different stories. Last week we talked about Abram and Lot, and how Lot and Abram went their separate ways, and Lot chose to set up camp near Sodom and Gomorrah. And then later on in the story, you find him living in Sodom, and how these towns, Lot didn't start out wanting to live there, but suddenly he's in the midst of these people, and theoretically he's not winning people over to God's favor. He's just living among these people. And so the whole idea last week was us talking about the things that you aim yourself towards are the things that you ultimately pull into your life, or that pull you into its sphere. So the people you hang out with, the choices that you make, the things that you even visually, the things you look at, the things you read, the things that you take in, are the things that are going to affect you. And if you're not taking in God's word, if you're not focusing on godly things, if you're not surrounding yourself with godly people, that's going to be very difficult for you to keep pace with Christ, for you to develop a relationship with Jesus that's meaningful. And so tonight, I want to talk about a different idea in that, but I want to share the story of the Israelites in Exodus chapter 16. Now, if you got a Bible on you, look it up, kind of mark the story so you can read it later. I'm going to give you the Cliff's Notes. So the quick version here, the Israelites have already escaped Egypt, the 10 plagues, the whole deal, crossing the Red Sea. They're in the wilderness. They're on their way to Mount Sinai, and the people start complaining. We don't have food. You should have left us in Egypt because we had pots of meat. We had all this stuff, and now we're going to die out here. And Moses talks to God, and God says, look, get before the people, pray, do all this stuff. When they wake up in the morning, there's going to be food on the ground for them. Tell them to only gather what they need for the day. And then on the day before the Sabbath, tell them to gather enough for 2 days, because they're not supposed to work on the Sabbath. They don't need to be going out and gathering food on the Sabbath. It's a day of rest. But the extra kind of rule there that he gave the Israelites, that God gave them, was except for Friday, except for when you're gathering for 2 days for the Sabbath, only gather what you need for that day. So you wake up Monday morning, there's manna on the ground, pick it up, but only gather what you need to eat for that day. If you gather more than that and you try to save it till the next day, it's going to go bad. And sure enough, the Israelites didn't believe him. They tried to take too much, and they woke up and their manna had maggots all over it. It was already ruined. And so the whole point of that, I say the whole point of that story, the thing we're going to pull out of that story tonight that has to do with us keeping focus on God and keeping pace in our spiritual lives, is the idea that we need to trust in God's provision. Now that idea, that word provision, we don't use that a lot. It basically means the things you need to survive, whatever you need in the moment, okay? And God is trying to explain to the Israelites all the way through the desert. It's why he takes them to Mount Sinai before he takes them up to Israel, okay? Before he takes them there. It's a journey that should have taken 4 or 5 days, maybe a week, and it takes them 2 months, 2 or 3 months to begin with, because he takes them down to Mount Sinai, gives them the 10 Commandments, and then has them go up before they disobey. And he says, look, you don't want to go into the land that I promised to you, then you can wander for 40 years. Before all that, he takes them to Mount Sinai, and then he takes them up to Israel. The whole point of the whole thing is for them to trust in God's provision, to trust in the things that God had, to trust that God was going to give them what they needed, okay? And God was trying to teach them in a small way, not a big way. You know, he tells them at the beginning, hey, your clothes are not going to wear out. When you get to the promised land, you're gonna work fields that you did not plant. You're gonna live in houses that you did not build. They can't see that far ahead, and he's trying to get them to that point. Okay, a lot of us want the big moment with God first. We want the opportunity. We want the point where we want the relationship where we trust that God's gonna do everything, the big stuff. You know, God's gonna give me the job I want. God's going to give me the family I want. And we see all those things, but we don't worry about the day-to-day. And that's where keeping pace matters. You can start a race and say, you know, when I finish this race, I'm going to be 25 miles down the road. That's going to be awesome. But you're not willing to put in the work on mile 1 and mile 2 and mile 3 to get to mile 16, 17, 18. To where you can see the finish line. You're nowhere near the finish line yet, and you're not willing to do those things. And God is trying to teach the Israelites that early on. He says, hey, just take what you need for the day. But they didn't trust God. They thought, I need to take, not only did they not trust him because they needed to take whatever they could take because they thought it wasn't going to happen the next day. What if God doesn't come through on Tuesday? I need to take everything I can get on Monday.
There's also the, with the whole running the race analogy, sometimes it's not the beginning that's the hardest, it's the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You start off strong, you're cruising, and then you get to the point where you can't see the beginning or the end.
Sure.
And you're at that point where it's like, well, I know it's back at the beginning. I don't know what it's the end at the end though, and I don't know how far I am until the end. You know, you're at that point similar to where Columbus was, crossing the Atlantic, where he couldn't see Spain and he couldn't see America.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know that America was there.
Yep.
He didn't know any other continents were there. So he's just going based on what people have told him. He's got faith there. And so I think that obviously it's important to get the race started, but if you can't make it through the middle,
Yeah.
that's one of the hardest parts.
And that's like you said, that's that point where you have to trust, where you have to have faith. I think it was easy for the Israelites because they were slaves in Egypt. It was easy for them at the beginning to say, "Yeah, please save us from this. Get us out of this." But the journey to get them to where they needed to be was so hard that they would have rather been in slavery than to have to work for themselves, than to have to trust in the same God that rescued them.
Well,
They loved the big moments, but they
Yeah.
didn't want to do the little things.
Yeah, and at the beginning, when they're in slavery and they're like, well, yeah, things can't possibly get worse than this. They're like, we're being flogged daily, we're being made to do tasks, we're in slavery. Like, this cannot get, aside from like Pharaoh deciding, hey, we're going to burn all their houses down while they're out working. Won't that be funny? Like, aside from that, like, you can't get much worse than that. And then, they going out into the wilderness and they're thinking like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. And then God's like, hey, you get to eat the same thing every day. It'll taste pretty good, but it's the same thing every day. And they're like, well, it's been a while. I don't remember how bad slavery was. Was slavery that bad? Was it really? Surely it wasn't that bad, was it? That just starts to creep into your head, because when you're experiencing something miserable, as soon as it's a different kind of miserable, you start to think, well, maybe the original wasn't as horrendous.
The bad that you know, as opposed to the bad you don't know.
Exactly.
Yep.
At least I know what I'm getting into.
Exactly.
There's consistency there. But
And so the Israelites, God has to teach them to trust him in the little things. Trust me every day before you start worrying about a promised land, before you start worrying about, because he knows eventually I'm going to ask you to go into battle for me. I'm going to ask you to fight people that seem bigger than you, that you think are going to destroy you. And if you can't trust me with what you're going to eat every day, if you can't trust me to wake up and see that there's food on the ground and trust that I'm going to do it the next day. I mean, get this. They prayed for food. Moses prayed for food, told them it was going to show up the next day after they'd been hungry. And the next morning it shows up. That's a miracle. But they went to bed the next day thinking, before even the day was over, they took more food than they needed because they thought it can't possibly happen again. And then it did. It can't possibly happen again. And then it did. And it happened. And don't get me wrong. I think don't misunderstand. Think about after they didn't go into the promised land and God said, you're going to wander for 40 years. God still fed them every day. The same way. He fed them the same way for 40 years. And I wonder if that blessing didn't turn into a reminder of what they could have done.
And not only that, I think also once they started complaining about not having meat like they did in Egypt, he sent quail too.
Yeah, he did.
It's like he was open to changing the menu like halfway through.
Yep. All they had to do was ask. And that's the thing. If you don't have a relationship with God, you don't even think to ask. You don't even think that, I can ask my Father for things. If you don't have that relationship, why would you ask for something from a stranger? And if you treat God like a stranger, your relationship with him is going to be like that of a stranger. The Bible even says if you can claim to know God, but if you get to heaven, he's going to say, "Get away from me. I never knew you." Just because you know who God is doesn't mean you know about God. Just because you know about God doesn't mean you have a relationship with him, all right? Take any TV show that you love. I bet you guys could tell me anything about those people. Not just the characters, but the actors, actresses. Do you know them? No. You feel like you do, but you don't. You get connected with them, but you don't know them. It's the same thing with God. You can feel like you know him, but have not done the things that he asks and not developed trust and understanding and patience, all these different things that God says you need these things. And so this story in Exodus 16, God is trying to teach them, you need to trust me each and every day. Start with the little stuff. That's the reminder that I'm giving you today. That's our lesson. Start with the little stuff. And I want to read you a verse in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3, where God reminds them of this. And this is my reminder for you guys before we start wrapping up tonight. It's Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3. And it says, there it is. It says, he humbled you, causing you to hunger, and then feeding you with manna. I love that verse because he didn't feed them until they got hungry. He was reminded, this is Deuteronomy is the second reading of the law. And Moses and Joshua are reminding the Israelites of what they went through and what God did before they go into the promised land. And he says, God humbled you, causing you to hunger, and then feeding you with manna. He wanted to get them to a point where they said, we need something. Where are we going to look for it? Oh yeah, God. And he said, he fed you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had known. He gave you food that you knew nothing about. Now here's a little side note. If that sounds familiar, if you go to John chapter 4, there is a story where Jesus meets a woman at a well, and he starts talking to her, and she says, she's getting water, and he says, he says, if you'd asked me, I'd have given you water that you never would have thirsted again. So God has food that you don't know about. If you look in different places, when Jesus gets ready to feed the 5,000, where the disciples get ready to feed the 5,000 and Jesus breaks the bread and helps them do that, they go up to him and say, shouldn't we send these people home? They don't have anything to eat. And Jesus says, I have food that you don't know about. And they don't understand what he means. And he finally says, look, we're not going to send them home. You feed them. And then we have that whole story. So this is not a new idea. Okay? Yeah, Andrew, who got you food? Like if you're hungry and you say, man, I'm so hungry, and somebody next to you goes, no, I'm all right, I got chips. You can go, well, who gave you food? Where'd you get that? Because they want some too. But listen, this verse in Deuteronomy, Joshua and Moses said, he humbled you, causing you to hunger, and then feeding you manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had known of, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of God. It's perspective. Yes, you need bread to survive, to live on this earth. But is this earth all there is? No. And God was trying to teach the Israelites, you need me first. If you have me, all this other stuff gets taken care of. Whether I feed you or not, actually, if you die, and Paul understood this. Paul says, to live is Christ. If I live, I get to share Christ with the world. If I die, all the better. I get to go to heaven. Trust in God first, then worry about the rest of that stuff. That's all he's saying. You want to keep pace with God? Put him first and focus on the little things. You got to master the little things. Figure out the little things first before you start worrying about all that big stuff. If you can't trust God to handle your day-to-day, how are you going to grow by trusting him with the big stuff? I think a lot of times we don't trust him with the big stuff because we don't trust him with the little stuff. We just think we do because when things get really bad, we realize this is bigger than me. I can't do anything about it. God, you handle it. But when it comes to the little stuff, we go, oh, I can handle that. I can handle going to the store and buying this and buying that. I can handle taking this test. I can handle doing this or doing that. I can handle all these things. God says, I'm sure you can, but I don't want you to have to handle it without me. I want you to involve me in it so that I can make it better.
And then for the medium-sized stuff, it's not well, I can handle this by myself. It's more of well, I know people, or I have a strategy, or I have other resources in this world that I can use to help myself, that can help me. and then you don't look at him even then. And it's the same problem with not asking him for help with the small things.
Absolutely. And so my encouragement for you guys tonight is just to understand that there's a possibility that God is shaping you and molding you and putting you in situations in order to need him. And there's a way to, I don't want to call it breaking the cycle, but God doesn't need to break you to get you to trust in him. You can learn how to do that on your own. You can focus on him yourself without needing to be broken to do it. God, if you will humble yourself and focus on God, and whatever that takes, start your day with God. Write down Bible verses, put them on your mirrors, put them in your pocket, whatever you need to do to keep God on your mind. It's the same thing we talked about on Sunday during the assembly time is why prayer? Well, one, it works. And two, you can't have a relationship with somebody unless you talk to them and they talk to you. And the way that we talk to God is through prayer. And the way that he talks to us is through his word. And then through what they call natural revelation, which is you've read his word, you know what God looks like and how he works, and then you go out into the real world and you see that naturally occurring. And you can say, that's God, and that's God. That's why you can see the evidence of God even in people that don't believe in God, because God has placed his desires and his values in every one of us so that we will seek him. That, love and goodness and kindness and patience and compassion and all those good things come from someplace. And it's not just because we have a shared morality. It's because there's a creator of the world and he put these things in place for us so we could find him. Why do we act this way? Why do we do this? And then we go to his word and we go, hey, here's why. And you can learn more about him. And guys, it's not like studying for a test. It's not like cramming so you can learn all the details. It's just about discovering a relationship. And God actually says it's okay if it takes you your entire life. Just chip away at it, a piece at a time. All right? I love you guys. Appreciate you sticking with us with this lesson. Read Exodus 16 and think about that story. There's a lot of stuff there and a lot of interesting things there about humility and arrogance and trust and all these really cool stories in there about how God was trying to teach his people to be set apart, to be godly, rather than being like the world that they came from. It's really, really cool. So, yeah, closing thoughts?
I do have one closing thought.
Okay.
Had to do it one more time.
Do it! Yeah, that was excellent.
So,
Wonderful segue. So, it's time to announce the interns. So, kind of interesting the way some of it happened. And I can tell you guys those stories a little later. But we will announce our FemTurn first. So some of you.
So weird. That name, FemTurn.
She's the FemTurn. Well, she's not the girl turn. That's just weird. She's the gal turn. No, she's the FemTurn because the guy turn doesn't make sense. It's the man turn. It's the FemTurn and the man turn. It's how it's always been. So here we go. The FemTurn is. Oh look, you did a little thing. Erin Young. So some of you guys know her. Some of you guys might recognize her. If you do, it's because one, she was here for work camp.
Thursday, I think.
Thursday? Yes,
Yeah.
Thursday.
Work camp on Thursday.
Okay, let's figure something out real quick. Why are we lagging? That's weird. I bet you because that picture is huge. Anyway, I think we're back. Okay, great. So, Erin used to go to Washington Street several years ago. She is a junior at Harding, and she worked at Washington Street last summer. So, you probably saw her helping out with work camp, not just last year, but she's been involved before. But she's a junior. She's really awesome. She knows Central. She knows work camp. I did not know she was looking for an internship until I was talking to somebody that said, hey, do you know Erin? I was like, yeah, she interned. And said, well, she's still looking for a job. And I called her and I said, hey, are you still looking for a job? She said, yeah. And I said, it's yours if you want it, because wasn't going to find anybody else that knew Central or Work Camp or anything else as well as she was going to. And so I offered her the job and she said yes. So Erin is going to join us. She might be able to come down for some visits, maybe come down for the retreat and things like that. I haven't talked about it yet, but really excited about Erin. And now, Faith, get the screen away.
Oh, do I need to make her disappear?
Make her disappear. Make her disappear.
And we just go in nice.
There we go.
There we go. Beautiful.
The man turn. The man turn. Everybody ready for this?
Sounds weird.
He's the man turn, not the boy turn. That's weird.
Well, yeah, but that's worse. But I mean,
here we go. The man turn is Michael Rom.
Hey, y'all.
No, I'm not joking. Michael is our guy intern. So,
for better or for worse.
So here's a cool thing. And I'm going to brag on Michael for a little bit so he can stand over there and blush for a second. So, couple things.
I should fade away from my camera.
He could. But, so, you guys already know, if you're watching the live stream, Michael's been hanging out since February, doing the live stream. If you guys came to Fall Party, Michael was helping out with that. When we did different lessons and we did other things, Michael's been here for that, helping come up with lesson material. We talked through some of the stuff we're doing right now is stuff that Michael and I talked through. He's already been doing it. So it was kind of a no-brainer to say, dude, why don't we just pay you to do this? But historic CYG type things. Now, when I got hired in 2007, long ago, the interns were hired before I got here. So actually they got hired and then they hired the youth minister. And so a central youth group person has been an intern before, but since I've been here, the last 15 summers, because this summer will be the 15th summer that I've been here, which is weird because that means for some of you guys, I have been the youth minister here longer than you've been alive. That's crazy. But CYG history-wise, Michael is the first CYG student to be an intern in the last 15 years. So,
which is code for you couldn't find anyone else.
No, that's not true at all. But you guys know, and that's why I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited about Erin, but I'm also super excited because Michael gets to hang out with us for the summer, and he's already been doing it, which means we don't have to teach somebody how to do it. Yeah, there we go, Allie. Yep. I have been here longer than Hannah's been alive.
You came here when I was 5.
Okay. Anyway, hey, they didn't fall over. I'm amazed. But, so, super excited about that. Michael's going to be in and out, obviously, until the summer starts, but helping out on Wednesday nights and that kind of thing. But that also means the differences and stuff means that, like, Michael knows you guys. And he and I both are going to encourage you to step up as leaders and do things. Because just because he's an intern, just because I'm youth minister doesn't mean that you guys get to sit back and not be involved and not do anything. And so, but I'm super excited about that. Super excited about Erin coming. And since we're doing live stream, normally I would give you guys, if we were doing class in person, I would give you guys their phone numbers so you could spam them for a night and say, super excited for you going to be our intern. Can't wait to spend time with you over the summer. And that way they've kind of already got your numbers and stuff before the school year starts. Not going to do that on YouTube because it will go out everywhere. But if you are on the GroupMe, I'm going to put their phone numbers on the GroupMe tonight. And Michael's already on the GroupMe and Erin will be on it after that. So you can talk to them there.
I'm gonna get my phone.
Erin is actually going to get a GroupMe invite this evening, and then you guys will be able to talk to her there, and I'll send you guys their phone numbers so you can spam them for a night and kind of give them text bombs.
Spamming was part of the whole.
Experience. It's just for a night. After one night, you guys can't do it anymore. Okay, until the summer starts. But for one night, you get a, hey, how's it going? Can't wait for you to be here. My name's so-and-so. There you go. Start there. But So look for that on GroupMe. If you are not on the GroupMe, send me a message, and I will put you on the GroupMe. You can email me, or you can text me, or you can post something on the chat right here, and I will make sure you get set up on that. Other than that, don't forget about class this coming Sunday at 9 o'clock in the teen room, which is just right over there. Don't forget about Super Bowl party next Sunday evening. I think the Super Bowl starts at 5:30.
I don't know.
I will make sure to send something out again, but I think the Super Bowl starts at 5:30, which means
We'll let y'all know about it.
show up, 5:15. We'll have food. You don't have to worry about bringing stuff. And we'll do gift cards and all kinds of stuff.
Predictions.
For winning the predictions and all those kind of things. We'll rank the commercials and movie trailers and all those different things. So come for that next Sunday. Don't forget about class. And then mark your calendar for the spring retreat, which is March 17th, 18th, and 19th. Other than that, catch the interns' phone numbers on GroupMe tonight. And we will see you next week. Bye.
But first.
Oh, we need to. Yeah. I really wanted to do that one more time before we left. Take us away, Shia.
Do it!
Bye, guys.
See y'all.